How you doing?
Hi, Gino. I'm good.
What's new?
Well, I have 3 town meeting articles coming up for annual town meeting.
Okay. Tell us about
And,
them.
well, they're all 3 energy related. And I think people might be getting tired of me talking about energy, but as you know, we have cables to the mainland, and we continue to spend more and more money by buying cables to the mainland, and the ratepayers pay for those. So right now we have 2 cables. The first cable was put in I think 1996, and then the second cable, I forget the number of years, but we needed the second cable much sooner than they had predicted. And now the third cable is predicted for 2023. That's only 10 years from now. And I'm sure it will come sooner than predicted again. So that's a $60,000 cost that would be borne by ratepayers. And I would like to see us avoid that.
60,000?
I'm sorry, $60 million.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That we could almost get our hands around. But 60
Yeah.
million is a different story.
No,
All right,
plus
so how are we going to stop
we're
that?
still going to be paying the current surcharges. Those will overlap.
All right.
So we would have many years of paying a lot of money per household for just the right, really, to import electricity, which if we can avoid that by producing some energy here on the island or conserving energy, then we should do it.
All right. Well, then we're glad to hear from you then.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what are the articles going to do?
Well, these 3, one is wind turbine related. It's a proposal to put a wind turbine like the one at the high school, exactly like it actually, and put that at the landfill where we have a huge electricity consumer. It's a municipal electricity consumer, and if we can control our municipal use, we can actually make a dramatic difference on what we're importing from the mainland. So this proposes to put a wind turbine like the one at the high school at the dump. And we wouldn't be paying for it. Basically, we're going to put out an RFP. If people vote for this, a vendor would build and operate, the turbine, and basically enter into a long-term electric contract with the town to run the digester and the needs of the dump.
Okay. So this is a little different from the last time we tried to do this.
Yeah, this one makes
Because-
it free.
So you think that might be the way in?
I think so. A lot of people, most of the complaints that I heard were we have too many other cost issues to deal with, and that we don't want to put out any money or have the financial risk of a wind turbine if it should not work or something like that.
So do you have people already ready to put this together? Do you have some people interested in doing it yet?
Well, there's not much to do. The town would basically issue an RFP.
No, but I mean, why would they issue an RFP if they had no people to put the RFP together? I mean, who would be interested in doing this?
Who would be interested in bidding?
Yeah.
Oh, developers. There are developers
That's what I'm
all
asking
over
you.
New England that put up wind turbines. The developer that put the one up at the high school would love to bid on this.
Oh, is that true?
Yes.
Okay, well, there you
and
go then.
actually has said to me that they would do it for less than it cost, whatever that was, 3 or 4 years ago.
Because it's getting cheaper.
Well, not that, but they've already done the studies. They've figured out the transportation to
I
the
see.
island. They know how to do it. They know what the real costs are. They know how much
Let
time
me ask you
it
this:
takes.
initially, it was supposed to be a lot bigger.
At
The first
dump?
one, yeah, to make it really worth their
The
while.
one the town proposed 2 years ago, which got delayed for another town meeting, was much bigger.
And the reason why it didn't happen was we couldn't get the insurance because it was too hard to get the blades, which are so big, around the corner. They'd have to be brought in by helicopter.
Wasn't an insurance issue, it was definitely a transportation issue.
Okay, transportation.
But I actually didn't favor that size of a wind turbine. I really didn't think voters would go for it, and they didn't.
Oh,
But then they did propose a scaled-down version of that by the time it came back to the
now
town
this
meeting
guy
last
that did
year.
the one at the high school, he likes the size. He doesn't want to go bigger. Wouldn't it make more sense for him to go bigger?
They do sell bigger ones, but I'm not proposing a bigger one.
Would he though?
Well,
Would
no.
he be interested in doing a bigger one?
When the town puts out an RFP, they'll put out an RFP
Oh, okay.
specific
Got
for
it.
a product.
Got it. Okay.
So they'll say what the parameters are, and then the bidders will all come in, and it has to be within those parameters.
All right. What's the other article?
Okay, the others, there's one to get the solar farms back on the table that the town had been proposing a year and a half or 2 years ago. There was one at the airport and one at the sewer beds. And those had issues with Well, there are a couple issues at the airport. As you know, there was a big financial mess that I think is being worked on
All
now.
right, yep.
So this could actually help with the finances at the airport by entering into a really deeply discounted electric rate for a 20-year period. So this would just basically say, let's get that back on the table. Let's issue another RFP for those solar projects. There were also endangered plant species
Yep.
that were on the site that would have had to been mitigated. That wasn't really a deal killer. It would have needed mitigation to set aside land. But those plant species are no longer on the endangered list. So
Okay.
that's a go.
All right, and what's the other one?
The other one is that the town started installing electric vehicle charging stations, which I think are great, but because right now they're just plugged into the facility where they are, there's one at the airport and one at the high school, they're just adding more to the demand of electricity from the mainland. They're not used a lot, but in the future, I'm just saying in the future, if we put more electric vehicle charging stations up, that they should have a renewable energy source so that the energy for those vehicles being charged is produced locally.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and then,
Well, how do people pay
ultimately,
for that charge, though?
I don't know how they do it now. I think they have a contract with the town.
No,
to
but I'm
use
saying if I
those.
pull my car up, just like I get gas, and I have to pay for that charge.
Right now
Shouldn't
you
there be a
can't.
meter or something attached to it?
Well, the way they're set up right now, the public isn't really using those.
Oh, yeah.
Like at the airport, I think Cape Air has a lease or contract somehow to use the one there.
All right.
And then at the high school, I forget who else is using that one, but they're sort of a contract agreement.
All right.
So what ultimately I would like to see is that we reduce the amount of electricity that we're importing from the mainland, because we have these peaks in the summertime.
Yep.
And if we continue to grow the amount of electricity we use as a municipality, in addition to when the tourists are here and the peaks get bigger and bigger, it will trigger the need for a third cable. So I'd like to see us never need a third cable. And some people say, well, we need an energy plan, that we can't just do this piecemeal. There is no energy plan. No one's working on an energy plan. There's no longer even an energy committee. So until there is an energy plan not only developed but enacted, I think we need to hurry up and start moving in the right direction.
Thank you, Barbara.
Thanks, Gina.